Women have so much power that they don't know. All you have to do to control any man is be the damsel in distress. I'm not saying you should use it in a bad way to manipulate for bad, but if you want to influence
manipulate for good.
For good, yeah. The difference between manipulation and leadership is whether you do it for bad or good. The damsel in distress, if you can swallow your pride as a woman, you have ultimate power because you can come to a man and act a little bit helpless. You have so much more power if you do that. So many situations in which women are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, just act like a damsel in distress.
Beyond the perfect we discover, through our flaws we complete each other. Better than perfect we stay. Through every fault we find our way.
All right, welcome back to the Better Than Perfect podcast. Are you ready to get jacked? We're going to be talking about fitness in a relationship. But yeah, I forgot the rest of the line.
Yeah.
Like, we were
like just dropped it and left it.
Welcome to the Better Than Perfect podcast, where every week we share with you how two imperfect people helping each other get jacked equals one better than perfect relationship.
I knew you were going to do that. And you got your arms out today.
That's right. Guns out, sun's out. You know, that's it. Today we're going to be talking about, I don't know what we were going to call it. Like I had some like nasty names for it, but basically, I'll just speak plainly. It's like when you get in a relationship, don't get fat. Right, like that's stay happy. Yes, stay healthy and fit and
healthy and happy.
Yeah, how you can show up for your partner by taking care of your body and yourself mentally as well, and it helps yourself. But because this is a problem that both men and women complain about, right?
Yeah.
Is that guys, they get married, they get fat and happy is what I'm always talking to guys that I'm coaching, and I'm like, what happened to you? Like, I used to be jacked. I used to be, but have the wife now, and so they end up not going to the gym anymore. They end up gaining a bunch of weight and not being, they end up becoming couch potatoes or whatever it is. And the same thing, men complain about women saying that they let themselves go and they don't take care of themselves anymore, and whatever, they lose a track. So, those are the common complaints. So I figured we'd do an episode where we talk about this, like why you shouldn't let this happen, how to turn it around, what we're doing fitness-wise, health-wise, So there we go.
Well, I can start if you want from a woman's perspective. Yeah. So I've always...
How have I let myself go?
No, you haven't. But I always felt like I've been a generally healthy person, like tried to eat healthy. And for the most part, I like to indulge every once in a while and stay active. Yeah. Even when I wasn't like actively going to the gym or anything like that, then I had a job where I was constantly moving around and active. And I liked when I was single to go out and like genuinely dance with my friends.
Yeah.
Like out at a club, I wouldn't just go and stand. So that was like also my workout, walking around and dancing for hours. But it has helped a lot. Like I've never really felt like I would just like not exercise or not take care of myself anymore. Yeah. But it does help a lot that you take such good care of yourself and help me take care of myself as well too. I've never taken so many supplements in my life, but I know that they've helped me. Like I feel like I have more energy when I like had low energy, and you take the time to like look up supplements that you think would be best for me and my overall health and things like that. So I am very fortunate that I have you as a partner, because I feel like you've helped me become even more healthy than I was before. But yeah, I can also see, though, not from my own personal place, that it's probably a little bit more difficult for women if they've had children. Yeah, because for it's sure. Like, having children and gaining weight and being pregnant, and then now you have a baby, and now you're trying to get back to how you used to look or close to how you used to look. Like I couldn't imagine the like pressure that must feel, and like feeling foreign in your own body, because it's like. Like I said, I've always been pretty active and a fit person. Yeah. And even I could like think about being pregnant and like
Right.
what that would do to my body. And then like
Yeah.
looking in the mirror and being like, that's not there anymore. And even like
Yeah.
trying to go back to the gym, like
Yeah.
now starting at a baseline that I wasn't even at before having a baby. Does that make sense? Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
women struggle with that, you know, like
Yeah.
they want to have kids, but they know what it's going to do to their body and they're
Right.
afraid their husband's not going to be attracted to
Right.
them
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, what if you're trying to, you know, look better as a woman who's just had a baby, but your husband's not doing anything,
Right. Yeah.
like to encourage you or to do anything himself. So
Yeah. That breastfeeding calorie burn, though,
yeah, but some women can't breastfeed too.
Then
So
you're
it's
not
like,
getting-
then they have to deal with that too.
Yeah.
They feel like, why isn't my body doing what it's supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And they're not getting the calorie burn that, you know, breastfeeding has. So it's just, that's the part where I feel like,
yeah,
I hope men have empathy for women that have had children,
yeah,
because I couldn't even imagine being like someone that's active and healthy
Yeah.
and then growing a baby inside of me. And then once the baby's out, like having a baseline that I've never had,
and
you
then-
know?
yeah.
And all the other things that come with having a baby, like
Right.
that your body changes, like you might get stretch marks. A lot of women do, or like different sort of things that now you have that you didn't before. Whereas like a man, he doesn't experience that, right?
got-
Like he might get big or gain weight,
Yeah.
but it's not because he had a baby. It's
No.
because he ate too much junk food, or you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
he's not exercising enough. So like, I mean, I am a woman, but I do really empathize with the aspect of that part of having a baby and how hard it must be to try to get back to where you were, and like having to accept that you're really probably not. Like even if you do, your body has changed in certain ways after having a kid. So
And some in good and some in bad, but it's like,
what does that mean?
I mean, you get bigger boobs, so it's like that. Like
Yeah,
that's
but they can
usually a
still go
permanent-
away after that.
It usually ends up being somewhat of a, but
Or
yeah.
you might get a lopsided boob
That's-
because they
that's
only
true. That's sometimes that
drink
happens.
out of one. Yeah, so
that
it's
happens.
not
Yeah.
just the positives.
Yeah.
Even
No.
the positives
Well,
are like rare.
I mean, you bring up a good point. Before we even get into the real meat of the episode, I think it's worth saying that, first of all, this episode is not used to condemn your partner and be like, hey, see, like it's for you. Like, all of our episodes are for you.
Right.
To you, the consumer, not to throw at your partner and say, you need to watch this episode. No. It's for you to do for yourself, not to judge the other person. That's the key thing, right? And so, and then the other thing about this is that, and I'll speak to men in this, but the same applies to women, but more so to men, is that do not be one of those guys that is like, I'm not attracted to my wife anymore because she had a baby. Like, don't be that guy. And just in general, the physicality, like, look, I get that it's important. We should be taking care of each other. That's what this episode's about. But also, you should also love your partner no matter what they look like.
Right.
Because I've talked to guys too, and they're like, "Oh well, yeah. If my wife gained like 30 pounds, though, then I would not be attracted. I would not stay with her." And I'm like, okay, look, like I get that there's elements to it of saying that if your wife just didn't care and she just gained a bunch of weight, that would feel neglectful, that she doesn't care about you. I can understand that. But if you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be attracted to, like, you should really have the mindset that it doesn't matter how much weight that she gained, that you would still love her, that your attraction is sufficient, that it is more than, has gone beyond the physical. Because we all start with just the physical attraction. I get that. But it should be deep
Not
enough,
shallow.
because I could honestly tell you that no matter what you even looked like, I would still be sexually attracted to you because of the intimacy that we share and the connection that we share, right? So, do I like to...
Which is hard to believe. but I do believe you.
But it is
it's
true.
like
But it is true.
hearing a man say that, it's...
Do I like
Wow.
to look at you standing in the mirror naked, shaking that ass? Yeah, I like that. That's good. I like it. I like to watch the dance videos. You're the hottest woman I've ever seen. But it doesn't even really matter, right? Like in my eyes, that will always be the case, right? So I think that's a good caveat to say is that that's how it should be. Like, you're not going to do these things in order to like win your partner's approval, or because they're not going to be attracted to you if you don't do these things. And you shouldn't at the same time also be like, oh well, if my partner doesn't get in shape, then I'm not attracted to them anymore. It's the wrong way of thinking about things, right? So with that said, you as a human being, should you have enough pride in yourself to keep yourself in shape? Should you have enough courtesy to your partner that you want to look the best that you possibly can, so that they got a nice, super hot person that they get to have sex with?
Yeah.
Yes, you should do that because you care. Right. But it shouldn't be something that you feel like you have to do. Otherwise, you're not going to be loved, and you shouldn't expect that. Otherwise, you're not going to love or be attracted to your partner. So,
right. Yeah. I wanted to start with the woman's side because the pregnancy thing is something that a man doesn't experience. And I feel like it is harder too, as women get older, it's harder for them to lose weight too. And, there's a lot of different sort of aspects that hormones and pregnancy like put on women.
Right.
So I did want to just throw that out there. But because like you said too, there are some men that aren't attracted to their women anymore after they've had a baby, or they're like, horrible and being like, well, when are you going to the gym? And she's just had a baby like 3 weeks ago. So like you said, this is not to be like, hey, when are you going to the gym, lady? Or like, should you be eating that to like your wife, or your husband? Like it shouldn't go either way.
No.
Like this is more about how actually working as a team and being healthy together also helps both sides. And like you said, and that you have the respect and love for yourself and your partner to be the healthiest, best version of yourself that you can be.
Right. And that's what it should be motivated by, 100%. Right. Yeah. So let me see where to start with some of these things. So, I mean, we could start with, I think, I would say, we kind of talked a little bit about it, but like, why is this important at all, right? So we briefly touched on it, but what I could say about this is that, number one, you do want to look as good as you can. You should not let yourself go, right? Because it's the same thing. We talked about this before in the romance episodes about romance for men, romance for a woman, and we were saying that, women really hate it when a guy, he's all romantic, flower, doing all the stuff, take her out on dates. And then when they get into a relationship or they get committed, he's no longer doing those things. He's no longer trying to seduce her or trying to woo her. Right. So it's the same thing with your physical appearance, keeping it up, right? It's like you also, just like you don't want to drop the romance once you get into a relationship or stop doing the things that you did before, you also don't want to drop the physical, right? You don't want to get into a relationship or marriage and then all of a sudden I got a cramp in my hamstring. That's why I'm acting weird, but like a Charlie horse.
But I get that too, that people get comfortable. And I think that's really where a lot of it stems from when they like fall off the wagon, with their fitness routine or their diet or, just eating healthier, is that they're comfortable and they're like, oh, well, I can be fully myself around this person. And so, I can come from a place of a more chilled, relaxed version of myself. But you can do both of those things. I think where people they let themselves go is when they just get so comfortable that they're like, they're going to love me no matter what, which like you just said, I know that that's true. Yeah. You've told me that multiple times. But for myself and for you, I want to be the healthiest, best version that I can be. Has there been times where I have not, gone to my fitness classes as much as I do now or eaten the way that I do now? Absolutely.
Right.
And it's not.
And have I ever judged you for it?
No.
not once, right?
Right.
So.
Well, and that's how it has to be. Like, because like you said, you can't like force it onto somebody. Like, and even though I just talked about you getting supplements and things for me, I never feel like you're forcing me to take them, because it's not like you're not like, here, take this fat burner, you know, like you're like, here's some vitamin D so that you don't feel like you need to take a nap all the time. I'm like, okay, I like that, you know, or like fish oil because this will help with this. Like, it's not, you know, you pushing me to be like, hey, did you go to your Pilates class today? Like, you're looking a little tubby. Like, you're never anywhere close to that. And it should never be anywhere close to that. But I'm just saying that I do understand that it's probably this conflict, right? With, well, I'm comfortable with this person and they're going to love me no matter what. They told me that. And still wanting to be the healthiest version of yourself, because you can have both. Like, there are plenty of times where I don't have any makeup on and, you know, I just threw my hair up and, you know, you still love me. Right. But
you also still, like, dress up and make yourself look good and put on makeup for me as well. Right. So it's like, because it's, there's acceptance, but there's also trying. And they both need to go together. Right. It's like, just like we talked about with the romance side of it, is that, as a guy, I'm not going to suddenly just drop like, oh, she just accepts me now. I don't need to like impress her by doing nice things for her, like being romantic, because it's just a given now. I mean, we're going to have sex, we're going to do whatever. Like, no, if I have that cavalier attitude, it may be true that you're going to love me either way, but it's not very nice. Right. It's very insulting to you to take advantage. It's to give a biblical reference, even though we're not religious, is that there's a point, and I think I forget exactly where it is, but
they're
Paul,
gonna come for us.
But Paul says, because they talk about grace abounding. So and he says this idea that, like, you know, should we sin all the more so that grace can abound the more, right? In response to the idea that your sins are all forgiven, no matter how much sin. So you just keep sin more. Yeah. So it's like, no, that's not the point. Like, if you have, you know, forgiveness, 100% forgiveness, you don't like
take advantage of it.
Exactly. And so it's the same thing. It's like, if your partner loves you no matter what you look like or whatever, you don't take advantage of that. I'm like, okay, well then I can just eat Oreos and do whatever I want to do, because it's that might be true, but it's disrespectful. Well,
and the reality too is, and as somebody that has my comfy days where, you know, I don't get all dolled up, and maybe I do want to sit on the couch and not go to one of my fitness classes and eat a cookie. Right. You know, like, you can have the balance. It has to be balanced. But also, like, you think that if I got stuck in those days where I just sat on the couch and didn't really get myself ready and just ate junk food, and I kept doing that, yes, it feels comfortable. Right. And yes, I feel like a raw version of myself in a way. Right. But I also know that the way that you feel about yourself when you pour into your own cup, when you take the time to get ready, when you take the time to go to a fitness class or go to the gym and move your body, when you eat a healthy meal versus a junk food meal, that you can physically feel the difference that those things make. Yeah, absolutely. And so really, everything that we're talking about today has to come from a place of you doing it for you. Right. Because even if you're doing it for your husband, you have to do it for yourself. First, exactly. Yeah. First, yes. Exactly. Like you said, like, that's the foundation. Because you know what just putting on some mascara on a day where you're like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't even want to get ready. I don't want to put makeup on. I don't want to go out of the house. Yeah. But you take even if it's a little bit of time to, like, put on some mascara and a cute outfit. Right. You know how much better you feel after you've done that. Yeah, I know. I just feel I'm like, oh, finally I can be myself. Put on some panties, you know, I'm just like, oh my God. You know how, not you personally, women know how much better they feel. Yeah. And when you feel better about yourself like that, you have this confidence that's even more attractive to your partner. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why it has to start with you. Right. Because when you pour into your own cup and give yourself that confidence, that good feeling, that healthy energy, then that transmutes to your partner
Exactly.
by the way that you're responding to them, by the confidence that you have that exudes.
Yeah.
And so your partner's even more attracted to you, because a lot of people too who have gotten comfortable,
Yeah. Yeah.
they probably talk about missing, or lacking that excitement in their relationship, that sexual attraction that they used to have. But when you work on yourself throughout the relationship, especially like physically and mentally and like in regards to your health, then you kind of create this new dynamic in your relationship, and you feel more youthful, and you feel like you did when you were younger and pursuing each other. And your partner appreciates looking at, all the ways that your body's changing because you're going to the gym, or appreciates the new outfit or hairstyle that you're trying, and all those different things. So, if you're also in this kind of like things have been kind of like the same or stale or whatever, because okay, let's look at this. When men or women, I guess too, cheat, a lot of them start going to the gym and they're looking better, and their partner's like kind of still doing the same thing, like not catching up. And then they're like, oh, well, it's fine. But then the person ends up cheating. It's because they've put all this effort into themselves. They feel so good about themselves that now they want to go share it with the world, which I'm not condoning that by any means. No. But I'm saying that if you do that in a relationship, you're going to have that same sort of energy.
Well, and also like this is the kind of crazy thing that people actually do, which is that when they're getting ready to break up with someone, they start going to the gym because they want to like, make their options better for the neck. So it's like, why are you, for a damn stranger, you're going to do the thing like, but you can't do it from your partner? Like, please do it for your partner first. And don't do it for a stranger that you haven't even met yet. Like that's ridiculous. It's, but the other part of it too is that it's so funny because I actually just remembered I saw this clip where I was a little bit taken aback by it, but it's actually pretty relevant. Is this guy, it was a podcast. I don't remember what the podcast was, but he said, oh yeah, were there any times that you weren't attracted to me? And she's like, yeah, there was 2 times in our relationship that I wasn't attracted to you. And he said, oh, when I gained weight. And she's like, yeah, one of them was when you gained weight, but not for the reason that you think. Oh. And she said that because there's some period where he let himself go and he gained a bunch of weight. Mm-hmm. And she said that she didn't even care. Like the physical part of it, like he didn't even look bad, but he thought he looked bad. Oh. And he had such low self-confidence, and she lost attraction for him, not because he gained weight, but because of what the gaining weight did to him and made him just self-deprecating himself all the time and talking about how fat he was, and like, and it just made her not be attracted to him. And so the thing about that is that the other part of this, if you think, okay, well, I'm just going to let myself go, and it's like, and it doesn't affect my partner, or they shouldn't judge me on that. Yeah, but if it affects your own self-esteem, you're also hurting your partner, because you're going to show up in a way that no one wants. It's like you don't want to have sex with someone who's constantly like, oh, I look fat, and it's like.
And I was doing that not that long ago. I feel so bad.
Well, because
I want to be honest, because it's not like I don't even still do that. Like I told you like I have always kind of been healthy. And that is true. But also the reality is that sometimes when I'm feeling a little pudgy, I don't feel good about myself. And I feel very self-conscious. And I'm like,
but you show up in a bad.
Don't look at my stomach or something.
When you feel bad about yourself, you show up in a bad way for your partner, because no one likes to have someone around that just is like feels bad about themselves. Like I mean,
well, no one likes feeling bad either.
Yeah, no one likes. And so it's like the solution is to do the things that make you feel good about yourself. And you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have a perfect body, and you can't wait to feel good about yourself until you have a perfect body. That's not what I'm saying. But if you do the things you're supposed to do, that should be good enough.
Right.
To
make
you feel
give
good about
you
yourself.
A different sort of confidence, because, like, I guess we'll go into the things that I've been doing different, because I've been going to my fitness classes and things like that. And that's why too, I think I was extra hard on myself And that's something to talk about as well too, because I was going and I was doing the stuff and I wasn't eating that bad. I was eating like one meal a day.
Right.
But I was like, I don't really feel good. And I know that you could tell because I could tell like it was really starting to bother me. And then when you were like, maybe you need to like start eating some more protein again, I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's a good idea. And I had listened to another podcast and I was like, you know, I think I need to eat in the morning. Like, I think my body isn't responding well to eating one meal a day.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that for like this week, and you and I both have noticed a difference. And I feel better. I feel better.
Yeah, it's better.
And I think people need to understand too that sometimes you might be doing something, you might be doing a fitness regimen and you might be doing a certain diet and you still don't feel good about yourself.
Right.
Change it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to change it. Change something. Like, and like you've helped me realize the protein's very important. It's hard to get a ton of protein, but it is doable. And you know, as women too, it's not for every woman, but I do feel like my body operates better eating basically 3 meals a day, at least 2, but not fasting. Like I was fasting a lot of times the way that you were fasting.
Yeah. See, I didn't even realize you were fasting during 1 meal a day.
I mean, I wasn't intentionally.
Yeah, but it was.
But it ended up being like, okay, I would just skip breakfast or like, you know, because I would go to my classes there typically in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it would be roughly lunchtime and I'd be like, well, I'm not super, like, I'm still not that hungry. I'll just eat a snack.
Yeah.
And then by the time I'd get really hungry, it'd be like 4 and I'm like, well, it's almost dinner time. So I might as well just wait till dinner. So, you know, it was basically like 1 meal a day, but my body just looked not how I was expecting it to. I'm like, I'm not eating that many calories.
No, but well, and here's a good fitness tip. I mean, for men and women, but specifically to women, which is if you do a lot of cardio, do a lot of exercise, and you don't eat a lot of calories, you're going to lose weight, but you're going to lose muscle.
Right.
That's what it applies to anyone, but women are more susceptible to this because women will do a lot of cardio, like, oh, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to get fit, and then they're like, I'm looking worse. What's going on? Like, I'm not losing the fat. And the reason why is because if you don't have enough protein, then what's going to happen is that when you do all this cardio, you're just burning up the muscle that you have. Then you go to the gym and you lift and you have just enough protein to rebuild what you've lost in muscle, but you probably still over time lose muscle, but the fat just keeps on accumulating. So you'll accumulate fat and you'll lose muscle over time, even though you're working out, even though you're not eating a lot of food, because you're not hitting the protein. But if you eat protein, high protein, then what happens is that you end up building muscle. When you do the cardio on top of that, now that cardio is burning the fat. You know, it's a kind of a simplified version of it. But yeah, I think most women aren't aware of that. More men are aware of it because we're more reading muscle and fitness bodybuilding stuff and, you know, trying to get jacked. But for a woman needs to understand, eating, if you want to really recomp your body more than anything else, probably protein, eating 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight is a good rule of thumb. It's hard to do. That's what we've been doing. We have the protein house now. We got protein shakes. We're doing protein ice cream with the Ninja Creamy. We've got protein chips and protein this and protein pasta. And we're just making sure that we do the protein because I got to get my 250
you have a lot of
grams of protein in 1 meal. So,
but it does help too that you're doing it. I mean, you've always been doing something. I mean, when you did the carnivore diet, I was like, I can't do that with you. I'm sorry. But the protein, I do feel like I've noticed a difference. And like we've been talking about this whole episode so far is that just the confidence that this 5 days that I've been doing it and noticing a difference has given me more confidence back. And that matters the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the thing.
And I think getting more protein is good for anybody to hear. So that's why it doesn't matter. But like if you're a woman and something's not working out, because also what workout you're doing can affect your results as well too.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you're just doing cardio, but you're not getting enough protein, you're eating away at your muscles.
Right.
And like a lot of women also too, if they do like a very high intensity workout, sometimes that causes you to get results that you're not maybe the happiest with. So playing around with different exercises. I mean, honestly, like going to the gym and lifting weights or doing anything where you're working with weights is the best for women.
Women have to do that
for their bones and for just you think you're going to get bulky, but you're not.
You don't have the testosterone to support it.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
like,
but that's women are afraid of that too. But
you only look better by gaining muscle as a woman. Even if you want to like, well, and women know this, but like, you want your butt to look better, right? Mm-hmm. You do squats, you're lifting weights. So but the whole body benefits from lifting weights for sure.
Right.
So,
but you can do other things as well too. Like personally, I don't do any workouts that involves a ton of cardio. Like I do my dance classes, some aerial yoga, occasionally some other yoga, like normal yoga, and then Pilates mostly. And then go to the gym with you. So, you know,
but
kind
your
of
dance
figuring
stuff
out
is cardio. It's cardio for sure. Like it's not like it's super extreme, but it's
right.
But
it doesn't count in my head, I guess. In my personal head as cardio. I'm just like, I'm dancing. So, but you're right.
Yeah, most cardio should really even be zone 2 cardio anyway, which is where you're at, where you can talk comfortably while, like a jog, a light jog type of. Yeah. So if you're thinking like super intense, like that's not really even cardio anyway. That's you're in an anaerobic state where you're burning sugar instead of fat. So
yeah. So, well, I'm just saying, figure out what works best for you. And we're not sponsored, but I use ClassPass. I wish we were sponsored.
Yeah.
But I use ClassPass because that allows me to go to all my different classes that I like to go to with one sort of software and one sort of subscription. But I do buy my dance class packs.
And I had the same thing for the last, it's been off and on, but maybe the last year or so before the beginning of this year, before I started doing the 75 hard and stuff and started running it, where I felt bad about myself and it was like I wasn't looking as good as I like.
I thought you looked good, but you were definitely hard on yourself.
Right. But my version of I know what I need to look like. Like to me, that's important to me.
It affected your confidence.
Yeah, and now I'm back to where I need to be. For me,
I can see your veins from like.
Because I like to look in the mirror and admire myself for at least a good 10, 20 minutes a day.
Yes.
And it's an important part of my day. So I gotta be able to do that. If I'm looking in the mirror and it's not what I want to see, then it just ruins that experience for me and I just can't enjoy it.
It's a fun experience to watch.
So.
I asked John the other night.
They think I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding.
If you could marry a version of like yourself,
a clone.
I think you would marry you rather than me. He says no, but I see the way he stares at himself longingly in the mirror.
That's how it should be.
I don't blame him though, because I stare at him as well. So,
but yeah. So okay. So I think it's worth talking about. Like, we talked about kind of what you're doing as a woman, which you're hitting. The big thing now is hitting the protein, hitting the 130 grams of protein for you or whatever your amount is right around there. We're around one. We want to try to hit around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Mm-hmm. So, or a little over it actually is probably better, just be on the safe side. And then you're just hitting workouts, the kind of workouts that you enjoy doing, which is, you're hitting them, almost every day of the week. And then we go to the gym together on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And we lift heavy. And which is good because and that's what we need to do is to be able to lift at least once or twice a week or do some kind of strength training. You do other things that are strength training too because you do the Pilates, which is major strength training, and then even the aerial yoga is big
like
time
body
strength
weight.
training.
Yeah,
exactly. So so and then what I do is crazy, but because right now
especially right now,
I'm doing 75 hard right now. I'm on day 61, and so. What I'm doing is 75 hard it's a good program for guys maybe to do if you want to really get back into it. Is for 75 days you have to do 2 workouts a day. They have to be 45 minutes. One has to be outside. Can't be something that you're going to do like a chore or something anyway. So you have to do no alcohol. you have to drink a gallon of water per day. I'm behind. All right. You got to read 10 pages of personal development book, and you got to take progress pictures every day. And you have to pick a diet and stick to it with no cheat meals. So what I'm doing is every day, pretty much I'm getting up, going to the gym for 45 minutes and lifting. And then during the afternoon, I'll go and run for 45 minutes. On Sundays, I do long runs. And then my diet is fasting until 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, basically until dinner time every single day. And then eating a ton of protein, except for Sundays, I allow myself to eat more out throughout the day because I'm doing the long run. So that's my basic protocol. But I'm also eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight at least, which is a lot of protein.
Yeah, he's eating a lot of protein right now. That's
Yeah.
also why we're doing the Ninja Creamy. And then you're eating like a pound of meat just by yourself.
Yeah.
I could not.
And then tomorrow I've got a Spartan race I'm doing. So, but we're always but we're helping each other. And, and I think that it's because we've created an environment in our house where there's healthy foods, where, we're doing stuff together, like going to the gym. We all have our own things, but I think that's important because then it becomes the environment. There's all the protein sources all around. So it becomes the environment that you're in and you're helping each other. So,
because it's got to be hard. And I know it is hard. Because I've heard other people talk about, I've had friends that are on their journey to lose weight and be more healthy, but their partner is still eating the junk food and still in the house, and it's really hard. And they don't want to force their partner into the diet that they're doing, but they're having a hard time with the self-control because it's there, and I get it too, because, we have a child and thinking about things that she'll eat, but then also has protein and is healthy, but not so healthy that she doesn't want to eat it. It's a delicate balance.
Well, let's talk about that. So what happens if you have a partner? So I'll talk about, for example, the guy situation. I've dealt with this with a lot of guys I've coached. They're like, yeah, my wife is getting fat. She's gained 30 pounds or whatever it is. She's let herself go. I'm not as attracted to her anymore. What do I do? What do I say? Every time I bring it up, she gets upset. And it's my advice to these guys is usually, well, okay, so first of all, the very first thing that you do before you even say anything to her is you lead by example. You start doing are you in the, and sometimes these guys, they already got the check. They're like, yeah, I'm super ass fit. Okay. Okay. So then the second thing is even before you still talk about, you're not even talking about weight or her getting fit at this point. Because first you're doing your own thing. The second thing is then you say, okay, is there an emotional reason why? Because if you try to tell a woman, hey, maybe you should take a little bit of care of yourself, but then she feels like you're not emotionally validating her and you're leave her with the kids all the time and you don't take care of anything and you've got all this crap that you just dump on her, and she doesn't feel safe and secure in the relationship emotionally, that might be why she's letting herself go, is that she's depressed and she's not feeling loved in the relationship. So,
or she's stressed out or something.
Yeah. So next, address that. Can you remove stuff off of her plate? Can you take care of things? I just did a video on my channel talking about, because the guy was asking, when do you step in as a man? And I'm all the time. Take as much stress as possible. You have the checkbook. You take care of the financial things. You take care of all the things, the planning when you do a vacation. You take care of that stuff. Remove stress from her. Yeah. So that's number 2, is remove stress for her and repair the relationship. Before you even, now, if you've done those things and she's not in shape and you want her to be healthy and fit too, and it's important to you because, hey, it's important. I get it. Yeah, we're all a little bit superficial, but you married a woman.
And it's good for her too. The longevity. So she'll be here, less likely to have health issues and things like that too.
But there's also the real element, and there's you don't have to feel bad about this, that if you married a woman and you're attracted to her and now she's changed in appearance, to fault of her own, and you're not as attracted and you want to have the woman that you married, I think there's no shame in that. It's
No,
a
I
valid
don't think
concern to
there
have.
is.
But how you approach it when you do talk to her is you say, hey, why don't we try to be a little bit more healthy? I'd like why don't we do this together? Why don't we try to clean up our diet together? Why don't we do a challenge together where it's we? Now, most people are smart enough that she might figure out that, yeah, you're already fit and you're trying to get her to, but at least in that case, she feels like you're not saying, oh, you need to do this.
Right.
You're saying, I'm willing to do this with you. I want to, I'm looking at it as a we should be
Support
more
each
healthy
other. Yeah.
together. We should try to get more exercise. We should do some fitness stuff. We should, right? And then again, if that doesn't work, then only then can you be a little bit more direct and say, look, I want to have an important conversation with you. It is really important to me. I love you anyway, but it is harder to be as attracted to you as I was because of these things. I'd love to help you with that. I've already invited you to do things with me for us to both be more fit, but it is really important to me. And if you don't take care of your appearance, it does hurt my feelings because it does make me feel like you don't care about me, right? And how can I help you? How can I support you in this, right? And that's the final, you're not going to even get there because if you've done all those other things, the person is going to respond on their own. In fact, what happens in most cases, and because guys are saying this, but they're not doing those things.
Right.
But in most cases, if you are literally just leading by example, especially as a man, and you're taking care of yourself and she sees you going to the gym, she sees you buying healthy food, and you're like, hey, could you buy this kind of food for me because I want to, eat more healthy. Is she not going to probably start to say, oh, maybe I should take care of something, right? Most likely that's what's going to happen. So if it doesn't, then you might have to address it directly, but you probably won't have to. And I think the same, I don't know, what would you say on the woman's side if she's got a man that's, I know you haven't had this situation really, but if she's got a man that's stopped going to the gym, he used to be this stud muffin of a guy and now he's kind of just got this beer belly. He's drinking beers all the time. He's watching
That's
football.
hard because I haven't, like you said, been in that situation. When you were feeling bad about yourself, I encouraged you to, maybe go try some sort of class that you used to take with the Muay Thai or something, or I guess try to talk to him about maybe something that he might be interested in that is a little bit more physical, or if he used to run, be like, oh, have you thought about running again, or, do you want to try something different? Or maybe talk to him about things that he liked to do before, or if he wanted to try something new. Another thing that I would recommend is that if he does something that exerts maybe some more physical effort, then to praise him for those things.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's a big part
so
too,
that,
is the praise.
He'll be more motivated to do something like that. Let's say he, carried in some heavy boxes or something, you can be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Those were really heavy and you made it look so easy. You're so strong or something. I know that might sound ridiculous to him carrying a box, but
it's encouraging.
You can't really be like, you're fat. You talk about how guys, to each other, they'll be like, you're so fat. You need to go get in the gym.
Yeah, that's fine.
But as a woman, you can't talk to a man that way, even if he responds from men doing that.
Exactly.
So
what would you do if I gained I don't know, 60 pounds? And I got fat, got a beer belly, was not going to the gym, was not running, and you start to lose physical attraction to me. I just really
I'd be saying that maybe we need to go back to, keeping healthier options in the house like we used to, because it'll make all of us feel better, give us more energy. And maybe we should go for a walk after dinner and, with Toto or our daughter and, walk around the block, or, go to the gym like we used to. I would talk about the things that we used to do. Because I think that also is kind of key, because if someone used to do it, they probably still to some extent want to do it.
Yeah,
because even though when you first started running, you hated running.
Right.
You started to like running. And then every time that you stopped running,
I know.
you've gotten back into running. So it's like if someone did something in the past, they probably would do it again if they were committed back then. So maybe encourage you to try some of your other like classes, like I said, that I did when you were feeling a little bit more discouraged about yourself, or, you know, do you want to go for a run or do you want to go for a bike ride? Do you want to, you know, try some new things?
How would you address it though? Like if it was like, you know, if you just were like, I got to a point where you weren't physically attracted to me or as physically attracted to me anymore.
I mean, I think that's hard because like you said in the beginning, like we have such a deep connection that I don't think it would get to that point, because all the points where you felt bad about yourself, I've been attracted to you just as much as I am now. So obviously you look
but
better
I never
now,
let myself go.
No, I know. That's why it's hard.
Degree,
like,
so it's like,
but like you said, though, it is hard for us to talk about that because it's like we have such a deep connection that it's hard to like fathom that.
Yeah. But I guess like a woman.
I mean, I think I agree with you. Like maybe before all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd maybe still bring up like we should, because as a woman who takes care of like the meals and things in our house, I would probably start with, hey, I'm going to, you know, start cooking healthy meals again like we used to do and keep healthy things in the house, because I know I eat the junk food when it's here and, you know, things like that. But I'd also talk to you about the other things that you're struggling with, because I do think for men as well, too, it can be emotional.
Yeah, because a lot of guys are resistant.
Stuff with work, you know, so to check in and, you know, see if it's something that they're struggling with emotionally and, you know, how they feel about themselves and, you know, what's going on, like, and how to help them through that part. And if those things are fine, then maybe, like you said, like I still think doing things together is better, because I think that anybody, if they feel singled out, is going to be more resistant, right? Like there's a problem with me. Why do I need to change? Like, and I think too that the people who get comfortable and kind of let themselves go, there's also some of that too, maybe subconsciously, that they're like, they should love me no matter what. And like, why do I have to change? Like, why are they trying to change me? And so then they're just holding on to, you know, being in that state that they've let themselves go because it has a deeper underlying meaning.
Right.
Where everybody really knows deep down, though, that when they take care of themselves, they feel better.
They don't want to actually be in that state, but they want to feel like they have control over their life and their decisions, and they're accepted for
But that's
who they
why it's
are.
about balance.
Yeah.
Like you can have those days, like I said, where you just want to sit on the couch and eat a cookie.
Right.
But you should live from a place of wanting to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel better, and then you'll be able to take care of everyone else in your life better because you're coming from a place of feeling good. And you can inspire the people in your life closest to you to also make better choices. Because I do think people don't understand the power of influence.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Especially on the people closest to us, and especially with something hard to do like eating healthy or things like that.
Yeah.
When I lived with my friend Addie years ago, like she was very much into working out and eating healthy.
Yeah.
And just being around her, like it was just her and I that lived together. It made it a lot more easy for me to adopt those same sort of techniques and ideals. So I think that people don't understand how powerful the influence of you doing the things and supporting your partner while doing those has, because it makes it a lot easier when you have a partner that wants to do it with you and you guys are doing it together and you're a team, than one partner just eating whatever they want and, you know, that they don't care. And then you're trying to eat healthy and go to the gym and things like that. And I do think that women, it's hard that men need to do that as well with women, because men can eat more and more unhealthily than women can and still be skinny or still be fit. Like, not all of them, but
that's not true though.
I mean, I think it is more true than
it's
women
more on
are
a
able to do that.
person basis.
I'm not saying all men, but I'm saying that that there are also some skinny guys who eat like crap and they stay skinny and they don't go to the gym.
I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, but I'm saying
but I can gain
like,
muscle easier. It's like, it depends on what your genetics are, but there's also women that they eat like crap and they eat so much, and I'm like, how the heck are you? So it goes both
usually they're
ways.
either doing something that's burning the calories off, or they're just still young, where their metabolism hasn't
or sometimes being young. But the thing is that it doesn't really matter whether it's it's like.
Right.
You have to take care of yourself. Or sometimes some people are going to have. It's easy for them to gain weight, and But if you blame something, then you're not. It's like it doesn't matter. Like ultimately, it's still your responsibility, right? It's like maybe you're not going to be. You don't have to be a supermodel. Like everyone has to be like at chiseled low 8% body fat, right? You don't have to do that, but. Yeah, but
it should be where you feel most confident.
Yeah.
Right. And most of the time, it's not, like you said, getting to supermodel skinny or bodybuilder buff. Right. It's to the point where you feel good. And a lot of times it's not this extreme version of yourself. Right. Like I just mentioned, that is what makes you feel good. It's just even sometimes the fact that you are eating a healthy diet and you are putting yourself together and you are going to the gym, sometimes even doing those things makes you feel better.
You feel better, exactly.
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, obviously I have times where I don't like the way my body looks, but for the most part, I just want to be healthy. And I want to look in the mirror and like how I look. And I don't even like getting on a scale as a woman.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that doesn't matter. It matters how I look.
Right, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right.
And so, like, I think, too, if more people focused on that instead of, like, numbers, like, oh, well, I don't weigh this amount or my waist isn't this size, like, but instead liking the way that their body looks when they look in the mirror, that's all that matters, because that is what will give you the confidence.
Exactly.
And then if you're eating healthy and it's helping your body look the way that you want, and it's giving you more energy and making you feel better from the inside, then you're also just going to want to keep doing that thing. And if you like the way you look and you like the way you feel, you're going to keep doing those things.
Yeah. I think also a lot of women end up in situations where they are actually, kind of nagging the guy about, oh, are you going to eat that? Or, or like you need to stick to your diet. Or sometimes it's for health reasons because the doctor says, hey, you need to lower your cholesterol. Yeah. And then they're like, are you going to eat eggs or did you go out? And it's like, but guys always resist that.
Right.
Like you can't.
Well, anybody's going to resist being told what to do,
You can't do it that way. You've got to do it.
But what do you think would be the best way to do it?
I mean, I think would be the best way if I were a woman. I would say something like, "Oh, can you show? I don't know how to work out. Like, I don't know how to lift weights at the gym. Could you take me and show me how to like get muscles? I wanted to build some muscle, Or it's like, what kind of food should I wanted to get more in shape. What kind of food should I eat? Like, even if just ask him so that he'll be like, oh, well, I'll do the research and figure this out, and then he's going to do the thing, right? So you just got to use that woman card, use that feminine, like, oh, big, strong man, help me, Okay. And then I think that I would say is most likely to get a guy to step up.
And I feel like women hearing that feel like that wouldn't work. But I know that you're right. Like,
I mean, hey.
That triggers something in men. But I only say that because they've probably never even seen their man act that way or even asked them about something like that. So they think their husband just wants to he's just going to do whatever he wants and he's not going to listen and he's not going to care to like give her the information. But I agree with you that is a good way to get what you want as a woman, because it does tap into this sort of primal man part of his brain where he He wants
Yeah.
to help. Like you said, the hero.
Exactly.
Like he's going to save the day. He's going to save you, even though you're trying to help him save himself.
Right. Because I like it's you have to swallow some pride because you might be like, oh, he doesn't even know shit. He's just this fat ass eating Doritos on the couch, just falls asleep in his own pile of Doritos, and he doesn't ever worked out a day in his life or whatever. If he's, but I know all this stuff and I know how to eat healthy and how to buy the right foods. So why am I going to ask him? But you got to kind of swallow the pride and be like, what do you think I should do? Like, even if you know the answer, so that he can feel like he's doing something, because that will motivate him to
And if
take
you
care.
make the meals like I do, just swap the pasta with protein pasta. Do it like kids. Put some spinach in spinach in there. No, but yeah, that is the better way to do it, because
but
you have to motivate him in the correct way.
Right. But you got to, because even if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to just start buying healthy foods, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start buying healthy foods. I'm going to start substituting, like, what's going to happen. The guy's going to be like, oh, I don't know.
He's just gonna get McDonald's on the way home.
My full fat sour cream. I like it. Don't change it. I don't like the way the low fat stuff tastes like. It's
He's going to get McDonald's on the way home and then not eat any of the healthy stuff.
Hide the wrappers. And, you just got to that's where you got to ask. You got to get the buy-in to get him to feel like he's the one leading the thing. And it's fine. It's like, you just, because that will get him to want to, even if he has to do the research. If he doesn't know anything about health, he's going to try and figure it out because he wants to save the damsel in distress. You got to be the damsel in distress.
Even though he's the damsel in distress.
Right. Even though, because so this is why, again, we've talked about this in other episodes, but women have so much power that they don't know. All you have to do to control any man is be the damsel in distress. I'm not saying you should use it in a bad way to manipulate for bad, but if you want to influence,
manipulate for good,
for good, yeah. The difference between manipulation and leadership is whether you do it for bad or good. It's the same skill. It's the skill is called persuasion, and that's what it is. But the damsel in distress, if you can swallow your pride as a woman, you have ultimate power. Because you can come to a man and act a little bit helpless. I know it feels, I don't want to do that. But you have so much more power if you do that, because guys are going to respond to it. It's like, but so many situations in which women are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, just act like a damsel in distress. Just be like, big, strong man, help me out. And boom, you're going to get whatever you want. I'm telling you. So it's such a simple power.
The last thing I want to talk about, I guess, is mostly for women, is that personally too, I used to take pride in being low maintenance, and I still do, because I still don't want to take an hour to get ready every day. I think a lot of women too, that's also potentially why they don't get dressed up, is they don't want to take an hour to have to put on all the makeup and do their hair and do all that stuff. Yeah. But it is important to take the time to do things that make you feel better. And there's so many ways now for women to doll themselves up that you can go and do at home, where it kind of cuts your getting ready time in half. I like to do the overnight heatless curls. Yeah. That's so easy, even though I look crazy when I'm sleeping, and you look
like a barbarian princess. Like Heidi.
But it makes it so easy. I wake up and my hair looks like I did it, and all I did was sleep. Yeah. And then, I like to go get a lash lift every once in a while, and that makes it so I don't really have to put on mascara, and I look more put together. So there's so many ways now too where you can do things like that cuts your getting ready time in half, but you still feel put together and you still feel better about yourself. And then, of course, there's going to be times where you want to get all dolled up and you want to take the hour to get ready. And, also my friend Addie that I used to live with, she would take a long time to get ready, and I would just be sitting there. But she enjoyed
doing
the process. Yeah. She would turn on her music and have her little chair and, really indulged in getting ready. And that is also how women should be doing it. Appreciate the fact that you're getting this time to just doll yourself up and do this thing for yourself. And you know?
Yeah.
Even like going shopping
part of
or
the
going to get
ritual,
your
yeah.
nails done like every once in a while, or doing your nails at home if you want to do them at home or you can't afford to go get your nails done. Or there's plenty of things these days where us women have come to the rescue of all of us to hack how to look presentable without having to spend hours.
Well, and let me
dealing with it.
let me give this perspective too, as a man, like a bit of a hint, right? So, as a woman, I would, if you're a woman, I'm not as a woman. Where I said, as a woman, as an honorary woman for the minute, if you spend an hour or 2 hours getting ready every single day, then when you don't have your makeup on, you're gonna look like crap.
That's
relatively,
also terrifying.
right? So that's not good. So you don't want to set that precedent. That's not good because then it's like then you're one of those women that has to wake up before him and put on the makeup before he sees you with the makeup off because you can't be seen anywhere.
Well, and a lot of those women don't like the way that. Well, just to
go ahead.
Hit on that is a lot of those women when they constantly put on makeup don't like the way their own face looks without makeup.
Right, exactly.
So that is going to drain your confidence,
right.
Even though you think you're boosting yourself up by putting on makeup every day. The second you take it off, your confidence is gone.
Right. So don't waste the hour and a half, 2 hours a day, every single day getting ready because that's too much because it's going to, by contrast, you're not going to look good without it to yourself or to anyone.
Right,
and so you're going to have to maintain it and you're going to have to keep it all the time. And it's just fake anyway. Right. So instead, again, my unsolicited advice, like, why is this guy giving this advice? But it would be to look good, presentable every day. Like, don't just like whatever, but like try to like do some amount of taking care of yourself, but not the crazy amount. But then occasionally spend the hour, 2 hours, get really like maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, go on a date and do it so that he still is like, oh damn, he can, but it's not he doesn't see that version every single day,
right?
Where when he doesn't see it, he thinks you look bad. Where you want it to be where when you do get dolled up, he's like, oh damn, what the heck, right? Instead of he sees that every day, and then when you don't do it, he's like, oh, what the heck? What happened here, right? Because anyone would feel that way from that. So that would be my suggestion. It's just like but still do it, but just do it on an occasion, not every day.
You can do the hacks like I mentioned that don't look as severe as dressing up for a gala every day or putting on 2 hours worth of makeup and your hair, because you are right that people get used to whatever they consistently see.
Right.
And so on the flip side, some of these women are probably like, well, if I don't put on makeup and stuff, he's getting used to that and hopefully he'll be attracted to me. But you do have to have that occasional time where you get ready so that you feel better about yourself, because there are plenty of times where I don't put on makeup for like a whole week. But then there's also still a part of me that's like, well, I haven't really like done much for myself. Like even though I've enjoyed being comfortable and not having to get ready every single day. And, I don't think I look horrible when I look in the mirror, even without makeup on. I want to feel like extra nice every once in a while. So, I mean, I do agree with you. I think that it's just too much stress also on yourself as a woman to just feel like you have to get ready every single day. And you shouldn't be putting that on yourself.
Yeah.
And then not liking yourself when you're not wearing any makeup.
Yeah.
Or your hair's not done or whatever.
Exactly.
This one's kind of been all over the place. That's okay. I think that, this is the reality like that everybody struggles with. I don't really know like how men feel about like the self-care part. I guess like going to get a haircut when they want to get a haircut, or I don't know. So maybe you can touch on that before we wrap this one up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you take care of yourself. Like, you could dress nice every, it doesn't have to be every single day, but, get to a point where you feel proud of yourself as a man, that you're doing stuff to take care of yourself. Yeah,
because some men never look nice either, never put on a nice shirt, never like comb their hair, or like trim their beard or whatever. Like those things still matter to men too. I'm not saying that you have to doll yourself up as a man every day either. But again, kind of ties into the same thing with women, that if you take the time also to get yourself ready every once in a while, you'll also feel
And
better about
let me say
yourself.
this real quick, because it's like just some quick wins, some quick tips for. We talked about the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day is really just a good rule. It's probably going to cause you more positive improvements than anything else that you're doing, as long as you're lifting some weights. For aging and stuff, everyone, especially if you're young, but even like you should be doing tretinoin. Why do I always say it wrong? Is that
Tretinoin.
Tretinoin. That's why. Yeah, tretinoin or retinol. Retin A. That it's the most proven thing you should be putting on your face every single.
Which I need to do that. It makes my skin peel, so I like.
It does.
Take
You got to
break,
find the right. But it is super extremely effective. Like everyone should just know this. For guys, also, look, there's no reason to go bald anymore. Like finasteride, dutasteride, minoxidil, like those are super easy to prescribe. Not again, I'm not a doctor. This isn't health advice, but
legally.
But yeah, and then even with the older, because you talked about the beginning, like women as menopause and stuff like that. For men, testosterone replacement is an option that is, obviously you got to talk to your doctor about these things. But for women don't even realize that at the time when women are going through menopause, they might need an estrogen supplementation is good, and testosterone. Women need testosterone at menopause. DHEA also can help with a lot of the things. Again, you got to talk to your doctor about all these things, but those are important. And a lot of women, I think, are afraid of taking estrogen after menopause, but almost all the studies, again, you got to talk to a doctor, blah, 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 disclaimer, but because they're afraid that increasing estrogen increased risk of breast cancer. But almost all that has been disproven, because women were afraid to take estrogen supplementation because of that. But for the most part, almost all the studies that are kind of debunking that. But again, you check your references and check with your doctors and stuff, because I'm not going to be liable for any of those things. But just like some quick things that you can do that are simple, but skincare is huge.
Skincare. Well,
for
and
everyone.
sunscreen, even though I know you don't like sunscreen, but sunscreen on your face is a huge thing that they talk about.
Yeah, I'm on the...
I put sunscreen on my face.
Yeah.
So we'll see in a few years.
Yeah. I mean, it is supposed to be that is, but the thing about that is that mineral sunscreen, because the chemical sunscreens, even though they're more effective, definitely have some chemicals in there that could actually cause the exact thing that you're trying to prevent.
I use moisturizer with sunscreen in it. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's good.
Hopefully. All right. I think
But
that's
yeah,
it.
that's
You got anything
our-
else? Yeah.
Tips, tricks, suggestions. Hopefully they helped you guys. I can't think of anything else though.
And we don't have any, we've just been vibing. So
And
no.
knock on wood.
Yeah. Nothing. So,
Don't want to jinx us.
well, good. Okay. I mean, there's a ton of other things to talk about that, but we're out of time. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's it for this week. Send us an email at betterthanperfectpodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a review.
Like, subscribe.
All the things.
Check out some of our other podcasts that we've been on
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah.
Love Stories by Charlene Byers. Check her out.
Yeah. And share this with a friend, a fat friend.
Wow.
Kidding. I'm kidding, but also do it. But see you next
And on
week.
that note, bye.
Through every fault we find